Well, hey folks, this is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the man cave. We're now going to do the assembly video of the Ailerons RC Edge 540 aerobatic 3D trainer. And I'm not a 3D pilot, but I do have some aerobatic skill. So, and even if you're not an aerobatic pilot, but this would not be your first plane, but this could be one of your maybe second or third, maybe your fourth plane. Because aerobatic planes actually fly very stable and they don't necessarily fly that fast. Since this comes with the vector gyro system, which we will go over in the next video, the radio setup video, show you the trainer modes on that. All right, for right now, we're going to do the assembly. Now, we're not going to necessarily go by the book because once you put the wings on first, well, then I got these wings and they're in the way. We'll do the wings actually last. And we're going to concentrate on attaching the vertical stabilizer, or otherwise known as rudder. Now, for this assembly, you're going to need two different tools. You're going to need a 2mm hex drive, and you're going to need a small Phillips head screwdriver, preferably one that has like a magnetic tip on it, because you're going to have 3 small screws. Now, with this build or assembly, you're going to get 1 extra screw of everything. You get 1 of these really long, I want to say they're 26mm long hex drive screws. That you get 1 extra. You're going to use 4. You get 1 extra, and that's for the hold the wing on. You get 3 of these really small set screws. They're really, really small. They're little Phillips head. They are actually 8mm, little bitty, almost like a wood screw, but they're set screws. They have a little Phillips head. You only need 2, but you're provided with 3, and then you're going to need 8 of these. What size are these? 16mm hex head drive machine screws, and you'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like you'll need 8. Well, but you don't get an extra one. If there was 8. Let's see, you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you need 7 because 1 holds the nose cone on. So then you do get an extra. So you actually are going to need 6 plus 1 for the nose cone or the spinner to hold it on the wing nut. And then you get 1 extra. So you get 1 extra screw of everything. So don't lose your screws. That's why I say these little magnetic trays are very, very important. Okay, now for this step, because I want you to see very closely what I'm doing, I'm going to pull the camera in a little bit because this is an important step. Okay. All right, let me get going. This is a one-man show here, so let's be patient with me. Okay. All right. Try to turn the camera to where you can see what I'm doing. Okay. All right. Now, you're going to need thin CA. I recommend this Starbound brand you get off Amazon. It comes with a wicks. See? Got a little fine drip. That's what you need. Okay, now on your horizontal stabilizer or vertical stabilizer, they've already installed the CA hinges here. Okay, now there's see right here, right there, that little peg on the back of that. That's got to fit in that. There's a hole. See where that ring is? That black hole there? That peg has got to fit right in there. So let me back it just a touch so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. All right. And this protrusion here, don't let that bother you. That's like a spacer. It's meant to kind of press up against the back. What you're going to do is you're going to line your rudder up. See that peg moving right there where my finger is? Going back and forth. That hole we were talking about, you're going to line that hole there. Okay, let that kind of feed in, and then you're going to kind of work your, make sure it's got a hold of it. See, well, kind of has to make sure it's got a hold of it, and then you want to kind of work your hinges. You'll feel the slots. It's not perfect, okay? It is not perfect by any means. Kind of put your finger on the underside, lift up a little bit on it to get that to line up and go in there. But once you feel them, you'll feel them. Kind of fish that in. And see, look how that tail is now moving with it. Okay? Let that, and see that spacer there that I was showing you. That kind of makes sure that you're the right, that protrusion, make sure you're the right distance away. Then kind of push it in this way. Kind of push it in, making sure it lines up and you got an even gap all the way down. All right, now that's nice because I can't press in any this way because of that spacer, and I can't, and the way this is angled, I really can't go any further this way because you want the line up here. So that actually makes it a perfect fit. It's really good design there. Okay, so now you're going to take you're going to leave that in there. It'll stay in place. Just make sure you kind of have it pressed in. By the way, that's a Ernst. That's a Ernst, E-R-N-S-T plane stand. Okay, this is the small one. Okay, so we get it where we can get closer in. All right, and all you're going to do is, you can see your 3 CA hinges. Okay, you're going to just hold it in place, put your body up against it, whatever you're going to do, and you're going to allow your thin CA a nice healthy amount on this side of that hinge, this side of the hinge, and this side of the hinge. Okay, let that wick in there, kind of work it, kind of hold it in place, kind of work it in. Okay, then you're going to turn the model over. Okay, and you're going to do the exact same thing over here. Kind of hold it in place. Allow that to just drop right on that CA hinge. That is the reason I keep saying it's a CA hinge, is it has a wick effect because of the type of material it is. That glue will wick into both parts. Okay, then just kind of work that in. That helps that wicking action. Just kind of do that number there. Kind of hold it in place for a few seconds. And that's all you got to do. And she should move freely now. Don't try pulling on just yet. Give it a few seconds to settle, and then I'll show you how to test that. In the meantime, if you look really close, on both sides, there is a little tiny screw house, a place to put a screw. It's right here next to the control horn. Let me see if I can get in there a little bit closer there where you can see it. Okay, it's a little tiny, that little hole right there. All right, those little tiny screws I was talking about. All right, this is where this is going to go in. Take your little magnetic tipped Phillips head screwdriver. Grab one of them little screws, and this is where you're going to lock. This helps lock in this vertical stabilizer. What it does, it locks in on that peg from the end of that tail wheel. Now put your finger on the back side of it, hold it to, okay, and turn it over, okay, or walk on the other side, whichever you want to do. You're going to do the same thing to the other side. It doesn't show, it only shows put it in on one side. Let's see, does it say, install the rear landing gear set to this vertical stabilizer with the included screws as shown. It only shows it on one side. Doesn't say about doing it twice, but it does say screws. So you get more than one. And there's a hole on this side, so I'm going to put one on both sides. That's the most logical assessment. All right, so then when you're done, what it should look like. You see that little screw in there I can put in there now? Little screw there? All right, now, let's just see how good my glue is. Okay, this is the big test. I'll hold here, I'm gonna let go with my lower hand. Now, if it can hold the weight of the fuselage with that motor and everything, and that hinge is not moving, you're done. All right, that actually is going to be the hardest part of this entire build. Getting that. So you've got that spacer there. If we're going to recap, you're going to slide those hinges in, pull the top of the rudder in, feeding in those CA hinges. You'll feel the perforations where it's already cut. And then you're going to wick on both sides with thin CA. Must be thin CA. Okay? All right. That was easy. And if that's the hardest part, then we're in good shape. Now we'll put in the the horizontal stabilizers. Now, they already have a hinge. Okay? The decal side is going to go towards the top of the plane. The undecal side, or the side that has the control arm, will go on the bottom side of the plane. Okay. But you go ahead and put your carbon spar in one side, slide it in. It has an obvious stopping point. See that hole right there? You only put this on one way. All right. That's going to fit in there just like that. Okay. You're going to come over here. You're going to install. Now, see these keys? See the back of that? These two sections of the back half are going to key in together. But you'll see what I'm talking about. Let me show you. That's kind of got it pressured in there, but you see the bottom? Watch this action in here. See how that's moving? I want this for that to key in together. Okay, so you kind of hold them. Where your screw house is going to go in, make sure that gets lined up. Okay, and then just key your two sections together. And when you can move one side and they both move, then you know you got it. Okay, now, if you look, you should visually be even on both sides. Now you're going to take those other screws, the shorter 16 millimeters sets or machine screws. Okay, take two of them. There's holes both sides, and you're going to I'll do this one on this side first. And this 2 millimeter hex drive screw. I love Ailerons products. I mean, yes, if you look at my channel and you kind of look at the dates and everything, I was buying Ailerons products and using Ailerons products long before Hobby Zone ever sponsored me, and Ailerons ever. And American Hobby Zone, their main product, and Hobby Zone pushes, is Ailerons. And I think I've got just about all their Ailerons products except for the Technam 2010, which I did have a long time ago, long before. Sold it, and now, as soon as they get them back in stock, they're going to send me another one. And again, Hobby Zone, thank you for sending this out to me. I've never had this plane. All right. You're going into, I can see metal down there. Yeah. So you're going to a metal screw into a metal housing that's encased in hard plastic, which is surrounded by foam. Very brightly colored, beautiful looking foam. Now, we are not going to hook up any of the control surfaces. I always do that in the radio setup video because I want to make sure my servos are centered first. All right, kind of support the bottom of that with your hand. It has a very obvious bottoming out point. Okay. All right. That's in there. All right. Now you're going to have a area underneath the plane that has a hatch on it. Okay. This is right here. This is actually where your receiver is going to go. Okay. You're going to pull that off. That's just held on with magnets. And looky there. Voila. There's your vector system. Okay. But that's not what we're worried about right now. If you look, there's 4 places where we're going to put our wing spar in, okay? Or actually we're going to attach our wings. But before we do that, like I said, wings are going to be last. Got this structure here, okay? Got your landing gear. All right, I'm going to back up a little bit. Okay, all right. Got that section right there, right? All hard plastic. Take your landing gear. You only fit it in one way. It's obvious. It's going to take that structure there. Plastic container. It I think it only goes. Nope, it goes either way. It doesn't matter which way you put it in there. It's not direction specific. You're going to take 4 of the 16mm hex drive screws. You're going to drive them in there. Remember, you're going to have 1 left over. Right now you have 2 left. You're going to think, well, wait a minute, because 1 is going to go in the end there to hold that spinner in. Okay. You got metal screw going into a metal bushing down there, or a metal threaded place. And that's surrounded by hard plastic, and that's encased in foam, just like so. You got a really nice setup, so don't be afraid to try to crank down, not too much, but because you got to remember, this is all plastic and everything. I mean, don't be too afraid to, don't go nuts with it. You know, crank it down nice, and so you'll feel it kind of bottoming out. When it bottoms out, done. You're done. Don't go any further. Nice and snug. And you start feeling things cracking and everything. Okay, well, you went too far. Okay. It's in there. Because you also have to remember, when you take this out in the field, cold days, hot days, it's going to heat, it's going to contract. And that's one of the reasons why periodically, you know, I'd say at least every 3rd time you come back, always check your hinges and everything when you get done flying. But when you come back to the shop, maybe after a 3rd or 4th flight, or bring it to the field, go through and check your screws. Make sure they're still tight, because foam expands, plastic expands, contracts. You know, the metal's not going to change, but everything around it's going to change. So you want to make sure everything's nice and snug and secure. Okay. All right, yes, I will be putting the prop on, but I will not be putting a battery in. I'm going to put the prop on just to show you. Like I said, it has a bottom, obvious bottoming out point. Don't push past that. You're a lot stronger than you think. Has a, like I said, don't just get it down where it's where you really have a strong resistance, like right there, and that's where you stop. Okay. Okay, and that's where you're going to stop. Now you have basically a completed fuselage, but I want to go ahead and take this bottom off just to show you. Got your pigtails for your ailerons. Okay. Now you're going to take your 2 wing halves. Okay. Pay attention to the polarity here. You're going to fish 1 wing through. Okay. All right. And as I'm putting it through, see that wire? Look at that orange background. See, there's a kind of wire moving in there. All right, before I go any further, go ahead and grab what the plane provided, what they provided you. See that angle on there? Go ahead and fish that in there. Pull that wire out. See, I just pulled that out now. Okay, I'm going to give you everything you need. All right, fish that wing on in there. All right, seat that in place where it's all even. Okay, now I'm going to go to the other side, take the other wing. I mean, you can go ahead and screw this wing in if you wanted to, but I like to go ahead and have it evenly. Fish your wing half in. That's weird. All right, hold on. Let me take a look at this. The way this is going to line up. All right, take your spar out of there. You may have to angle it in to get it to fit on that wing. Okay, there you go. Get that in there like that. Slide that in there. You might have to go in, kind of key it in, and then back. A little bit of foam was in the way, so I pushed down past that foam and then pushed it in. You'll see what I mean whenever you put it together. All right, go ahead and line this one up. Okay, pay attention to that wire, your servo lead. So straighten it out. Make sure, see that hole? You look right up in there. Let me drop that wing out of the way there, we can see it. See that hole? That channel right there? That's where you got to pay attention. That's where I want that wire to go. So, however way you got to do it. The other wing's not going to slide out. If you have to hold your plane like this in one hand and then guide, I'm guiding it through with this hand here. Whatever way you got to do, but you want to go into that hole there. Get that guide on through there. We'll kind of look for it. Okay. All right, where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, I can kind of see it there. Again, I want to take what they provided me using that angle, that part. I see that wire hanging there. And we'll just kind of fish that through. See? Now, I don't have to worry about my wires getting pinched or anything. I know it's up and out of the way. Okay. Now I'm going to just kind of feed that in there. You may have to finagle it a little bit. Work it back and forth a little bit. Like I've always said though, a tight fitting model is a good model. Okay. Let me go ahead. If I'm coming up with minor difficulties, then let me work them out on camera. And you can see, that way you know what to expect. That's the whole purpose of these assemblies. That way if I run into an issue, which this is not an issue. Believe it or not, this is not an issue. What I'm going to do now, remember I said you'd go ahead and attach one wing if you wanted to? I'm going to go ahead and lock this other wing in. That way I've got a hard surface to work against. Use as leverage to get the other wing in there. Again, metal screw going into a metal housing, encased in hard plastic, surrounded by foam. Good design. These are long screws, so it does take a little bit longer. Which is, it gets slower, closer to the bottom, I can feel it getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Just looking for that bottoming out point. And I think I'm almost there. Yeah. There it is. Because I can see the plastic that's around that foam starting to pull in a little bit. So that I know I have bottomed out. I'm going to get past that though. And I feel like we'll hear that squeaking sound. That's a good sound. Believe it or not, that is a good sound. That means you got a tight fitting model. A tight fitting model is a happy model. Start getting tired. Well, in the meantime, I'll tell you this little joke. Kindergarten lives with his grandpa, right? He gets home about after the third week of school. Yeah, that's good and tight there. Comes about third week of school, kindergarten. Grandpa looks at him and says, "Hey, Papa." He said, "Hey, boy, how was your day at school?" He said, "Oh, Papa, I'm sick to death at school." He said, "Wait a minute, boy, what do you mean?" He said, "What's going on?" He said, "All they ever talk about is sex." He said, "Hold on now, boy." He said, "You in the kindergarten, third week, they're talking about sex? You're going to have to explain that to me, son." "Oh, come on, Papa, you've been around, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's clean, you can tell it to anybody. Okay, now let's, all right, now, look at that. That wing is now lining up beautifully now that I have secured the other wing in place. Yeah, she's getting in there now because it's locked in tight. Yeah, make sure your seam is nice and even. Make sure she's in there. You may, and if it's pressing, I'm telling you, this thing is pressed in there so tight you probably don't even need to put the screws in, but of course we're going to. All right. All right, yeah, that's good. That is really good. We got both of our come on. And you have to work your wing just a little bit, make sure that lines up, that screw lines up. Yeah, there it goes. This is why I love Ailerons, E-Flight, FMS, these products. Oh, I'm talking. Okay, we'll try the back one. I'll use that front one as leverage in. But I love these products. They're designed so well. Come on. As I say that, I'm having a hard time with the screw. Okay. That just tells me that there's something in the way. All right, let me work on this. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to keep rocking this wing back and forth just right until this screw and the screw, everything lines up. Now that, I understand, that's not a design flaw. That's a tight fitting plane, and that's a good thing because you're wanting strong performance out of it. If things loose and wiggling about, you're not going to have a good performance. So let me work on this, kind of mundane. We'll come right back. Okay, I'm back. I just had to keep finagling that wing back and forth until I got those two wing screw lines to line up. And once I got one, the other one pretty well fell into place. Now, while you're here, to make things easier, okay, you know, remember what I said, you pull those two wires through? Well, you're going to see coming off the back of the Vector, you're going to see these two pigtails here, okay? See, it has a light side and the dark side, okay? It can be yellow, brown, whatever, but you got light and you got dark. Polarity is always that way. You're going to grab the one from the one wing. It doesn't matter which one, okay? I'm going to hook one up and I'm going to show you how you do the other one. Okay, I'll line it up, light to light, dark to dark. That's always the polarity with servo leads. Light to light, dark to dark. Okay, where's my other one coming out? There it is. All right, now show you what I'm doing. Nope, sorry. My camera lead or my cord here. All right, so just bear with me. Okay. Kind of show you what I'm doing if I can hold the plane. All right, got this pigtail here, right? This is that other coming from the other side of the wing, the other aileron, okay? See how you got the light side right here, okay? See on this pigtail you got light and dark. See right there's the light side. I'm going to line these two up this way. You might have to turn it sideways a little bit to get that to feed in there. But you got these two little locking pegs there. Trying to hold this and plane at the same time. Feel it now. See how that's lined up now? Light to light, dark to dark. That is all servos are that way. All right, that's always going to be that way. All servos, all planes, no matter who makes it, polarity is always light to light, dark to dark. Can I say that again? Light to light, dark to dark. All right. So now you can just tuck all that back down in there. You know all leads to all controls are all hooked up. Okay. You can now take your little battery or radio hatch, put that in there. Move your plane stand out of the way. Now, I'm all about the business of putting on the prop. It's a good looking plane. All right. So you got your nut here. You're going to remove that nut. Okay. Put it in your magnetic tray. That backing washer, take that off. If you look at the back plate of your spinner is keyed. So is the front of the prop shaft. Now is a good time to take your 2mm hex head. I think that's, nope, that is a, I can't tell. That maybe is a 3mm. Now is a good time though. Take your, looks like maybe a 3mm hex head and make sure, maybe that's a Phillips. I can't see it. Let me try with Phillips. Well, it's one of them. Yeah, okay. It is a maybe a 2.5. Yeah, it must be a 2.5 hex head. And now's just a good time to make sure that's good and tight. Just grab a hold of the nut part. Oh yeah. And all I'm doing is making sure that prop, this is a prop adapter, it's on the front of the motor. And or it's a motor adapter, and I'm just making sure that it's on there nice and tight. And it is. So now you're going to take that keyed back plate, fish it onto the hex key. It only fits one way. And when you have it properly seated, it fits on tight, but there's like very little gap. Okay, and that's on there. Okay, kind of grab the back of the plane and make sure it's all the way down. Take your prop, which I did off camera. I made sure the prop was balanced, and it is. When you put the prop on, people will say, well, which way? Look how this is curved this way. It's going to go towards you. In other words, the prop is always going to turn towards the left in this application. So the blade is going to turn towards you like it's going to go, the blade would go that way. In other words, it's going to push the air backwards. Put that on there. That washer. Okay. Put on your nut. Get you a good handy set of pliers. Okay. This is where I like to grab the prop. My arm's on one side, grab the prop here, and I'm going to just crank down. Hold the back of that spinner in place. All right, that's on there. Put on that nose cone. Okay. Remember what's going to go on that screw right there? Oh wait, you know what? How much you want to bet? It's the long one. It's that one extra long one you've got left. How much you want to bet? Yep, that's it. Okay. Get it out of here real quick. Oop. I got that 2mm hex drive. Where's my tool? Where's my tool? I love this tool. I'll put a link. This is like the best thing ever. I bought this off Amazon, 16 bucks. Comes like with 4 different sizes. And I use it and I use it and I use it. I'll put a link for it. All right. That may be the short one. You know what? It probably would be nice if I just read the instructions. Hold on. It might be. No, it is the 16. It's the shorter one. So, hold on. That guy screwed up. That would explain it too. All right. So, at the end of the day, you're going to end up with one of the long wing bolts. You're going to end up with a 1/16mm, which holds all those stuff on, and then the one little bitty Phillips head. That's what you're going to end up with at the end of the day. Extra. One extra of all the screws you use. 3 different size screws for this. All right. Come on. Oh, there it is. Nice and tight, but not over tight. Okay. Oh. And that's why you don't over tighten it. I over tightened it and I went right through the spinner. Dang it. And the way you fix that is you got to put a washer. I over tightened it and I ripped that part of the spinner out. Oh, what a pain in the butt that's going to be to fix. Oh, I thank RC Sailors. I think he did the same thing. Well, shoot. That means when I fly this thing, it's going to be without the spinner. Oh, man. I had to buy a new spinner. But what I might be able to do, if I can find me a really long screw, which maybe that wing screw might work, and it would be at the end of this with a washer. I don't know if that's going to work or not. What I have to do is get a washer that's, yeah, I pushed the back of that spinner. That's why when I felt it nice and tight, I should stop right there. This is the importance of metal versus plastic. Don't over tighten it. This was meant to be taken on and off. So now I'm going to have to fight with that. Shoot. So I'm going to find a really long screw, put a washer on the end, and then... and that's going to look terrible, but it'll keep the spinner on. So, all right, well, I screwed up at the end. So now we're going to look like that until I can find a way to remedy that. So I do have to admit, that was kind of weak plastic there. So, you know, let's just say 50% my fault, 50% their fault for having a weak spinner. Good looking spinner, though. So, yeah, that was right. And I think it even says, assembled propeller spinner shown. Note the motor should rotate counterclockwise, which is that way there. Yeah, you're going to tighten it this way. The motor should rotate clockwise when viewing the plane from the rear. Okay, so yeah, it's going to go that way. So, okay. All right, well, now I have to fix the spinner. I'll tell you what I came up with. All right, well, that's the basic assembly. And shout out to Hobby Zone for sending this out to me. And I'll fix the spinner and I'll do a better representation next time. We will be using an AR620 in the next video. All right, y'all have a good one. God bless y'all. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends. And they're really cool jets, or really cool planes, 3D planes, not jets, but hey, you know. All right, real quick, I think I got a solution. I found a longer screw that does fit in the front of that prop. Put a washer on the end of it. It's going to actually hang on the outside now of this. And hopefully it will reach the nut. I think it's going to just reach that nut. So, that's Phillips head. So, we shall see. Got some room there. Hold on, need a longer screw. All right. What I did was I found a screw long enough to reach all the way through, had about that much where it went into the top of the adapter, put a little washer on the end. Now that sucker's on there. Okay, so now that concludes the build, and we'll come back next with radio setup. Bye.